Hello, I'm Tara Kelleher, and I'm going to go over a short summary of my paper entitled Academic Library Managers and Conflict Resolution. I chose this topic because in my working career, I've either had managers who just simply struggled with conflict or were very inefficient at it, so I wanted to learn more about how to deal with conflict in a productive manner. The thesis of my paper is this paper examines conflict and conflict resolution strategies. It will share views on the causes of conflict, the types of conflict escalation, and various conflict resolution models, which can aid an academic library manager in their management career. A simple definition of conflict is that it pertains to the opposing ideas and actions of different entities, thus resulting in an antagonistic state. It also is just an inevitable part of interpersonal relationships and in a work environment. The next thing I go into is why does conflict occur? And the reasons that I go over are opposing interests involving scarce resources and goal divergence, and mixed motive relationships where persons have both competitive and cooperative interests, and because people cause it and do not impede its escalation. The next thing I go into is the difference between relationship conflict and task conflict, and then combined. So relationship conflict leads to animosity and interpersonal disputes, and is just more messy in general. Task conflict can encourage analytical thinking and problem solving and be a positive force. And if we combine relationship and task conflict together, it usually tends to lead to negative effects on decision making, group performance, and outcomes. Therefore, my paper really concentrated on the interpersonal conflict element. And I found a wonderful resource from Vestergaard Helvard Sorensen from the Danish Center for Resolution Conflict that spoke about how conflict escalates. And I go over this and I wish I could really talk about it more, but a short summary is that a simple disagreement can go all the way to polarization. And the idea for a manager is to basically stop this at just a disagreement and not have it lead to personification all the way to polarization. The next thing I go into in my paper is redefining conflict and dispelling myths. So according to Malappa and Kumar, conflict is positive and it offers an opportunity to learn more about oneself, explore views of others, and develop productive relationships. And some of the myths that I cover are that conflict only breeds destruction, it causes communication to cease, and that there has to always be a winner and a loser. And then I go into conflict management and resolution strategies. And according to Malappa et al., conflict management skills encompass the ability to be able to identify and handle conflicts sensibly, fairly, and efficiently. And the next thing I cover are 4 conflict resolution strategies. And Thomas and Kilman's 5 approaches to conflict cover the approaches of power, accommodation, avoidance, compromise, and collaboration. And then I wanted to go more into the collaborative conflict management aspect. So I cover coaching and mediation and the information about that. Then I found a wonderful resource by Reiser, who's a professor from the Institute for Management Development, and he covers 6 essential skills to not fall into normal conflict pitfalls. And the last one that I go over really was geared toward academic libraries, and it's called Planning for Conflict. And it covers 7 practices to add to your management style. And in conclusion, this paper set out to analyze conflict and present several conflict resolution strategies an academic librarian can use. However, I want to stress this paper skims the surface of conflict and conflict resolution strategies. And my recommendation is that you continue looking at key ways to work with an inevitable element of conflict. And I thank you for your time.